Every day, you make decisions: what to buy, who to trust, what to believe. But here's the real question. Are those decisions really yours, or are they designed? This channel breaks down the psychology behind everything. I'm Shrest, and this is where we decode the world.
You know, what if the secret to a more successful and fulfilling life isn't really about finding simple, clear-cut answers? What if it's about leaning into contradiction? And what if I told you that to become truly wise, you have to first get really comfortable with how little you actually know? It sounds totally backward, I get it, but we live in a world where trying harder can, believe it or not, sometimes make things worse. Let's dive into why. Or how about this one? Have you ever felt that having more choices just made you less satisfied? If you found yourself nodding along to any of that, well, you've already bumped into one of life's great paradoxes. And these aren't just clever little riddles, they're fundamental truths about how we operate as human beings. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into these counterintuitive principles that the smartest people use to navigate the messy realities of life. And by the end, I think you'll see why learning to think in opposites isn't a sign of confusion, it's actually a superpower. Okay, so let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is a paradox? And why is it such a powerful tool for breaking out of that rigid black and white thinking? Well, think of it as a statement that kind of ties your brain in a knot, but once you manage to untangle it, it reveals a profound and often uncomfortable truth. It's where that neat and tidy logic just doesn't apply. We're often taught that life should make sense in a straight line. You do A, you get B. But life isn't an instruction manual, is it? Paradoxes aren't meant to confuse you. They're meant to liberate you from trying to shove a really complex world into a simple little box. Today, we're going to break down 4 of the most powerful paradoxes that really shape our lives: the effort paradox, the knowledge paradox, the failure paradox, and the paradox of choice. Let's start with the one that really challenges our modern ideas about hard work. So first up is a paradox we all slam into pretty much daily: the effort paradox. We live in a culture that absolutely worships the hustle. We're told to push harder, grind longer, and just outwork everybody else. But is that always the right answer? This question, right here, it gets right to the very heart of the paradox. Sometimes more effort doesn't lead to more success. It actually just gets in the way. Let's look at a few examples. These examples are just so relatable, right? The more you focus on trying to sleep, the wider awake you become. Or here's a classic: try not to think about a pink elephant. Go on, try it. The effort of suppressing that thought makes it the star of the show in your mind. Or trying too hard to be funny, your jokes just land flat. That's the effort paradox in action. Sometimes just trying to muscle through only makes things worse. So what's the solution here? Well, the smartest people really understand this idea of a flow state. It's that magical zone where progress feels almost effortless, precisely because you aren't fighting yourself anymore. Mastery isn't about maximum effort 24/7. It's about knowing when to push and, just as importantly, when to let go, finding that perfect rhythm between effort and ease. All right, next up is one that every curious person eventually faces: the knowledge paradox. And this one can feel totally disorienting because it completely flips our idea of what expertise even looks like. And this is perfectly captured by something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. When you first dip your toes into a new subject, your confidence just soars. You learn the basics, and you feel like you're on the fast track to becoming an expert. But that's because you literally don't know enough yet to see your own blind spots. On the flip side, true experts often underestimate their own abilities because they're so deeply aware of the vast, complex world they have yet to master. This analogy just illustrates the core idea perfectly. Imagine your knowledge as a circle. As that circle gets bigger, its edge, the circumference, also grows. And that edge represents the boundary where what you know meets the vast ocean of what you don't. So the more you learn, the more aware you become of just how much is left to discover. You know, the wisest minds in history understood this completely. Socrates famously concluded that he knew nothing, and as we can see here, even Einstein felt the same way. They didn't see this as a failure, not at all. They saw it as the very definition of wisdom. Accepting your own ignorance isn't a weakness, it's the gateway to true intelligence. Okay, let's move on to our third paradox. This one tackles something our society has a massive fear of: failure. We're taught from a young age that it's a dead end, something to be avoided at all costs. But what if that's completely fundamentally wrong? So here we can see the conflict laid out perfectly. On one side, you've got the conventional view that we're all taught, that failure is the opposite of success. But on the other, there's the paradoxical truth that the most successful people live by. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's an essential part of it. I mean, think about Thomas Edison working on the light bulb. He famously said he hadn't failed, he just found 10,000 ways that won't work. He completely reframed failure. It wasn't a verdict, it was data. Each so-called failure was just one more wrong path eliminated, which got him one step closer to the right one. Success is simply the result of learning from enough failures. This idea is just so powerful. When you truly absorb it, the emotional weight of failure starts to lift. You stop seeing it as some kind of judgment on your character, and you start seeing it for what it is, a tuition payment for your education. And finally, that brings us to the paradox of choice. We usually assume that more choice is always better. I mean, that's freedom, right? Well, not exactly. In our modern world, we are practically drowning in options, and it's having a pretty surprising effect on us. As psychologist Barry Schwartz argues, having too many options can be crippling. It leads to things like decision paralysis, anxiety. Even worse, the more options there are, the higher our expectations get. We start to believe that the perfect choice must be out there somewhere, which just sets us up for disappointment and a constant state of regret. Schwartz actually distinguishes between two types of people. You have maximizers who feel this need to find the absolute best option, and satisficers who just choose the first option that's good enough. And guess who's consistently happier and less stressed? Yep, the satisficers. Embracing this paradox means realizing that freedom isn't about having infinite options. It's about having the wisdom to choose what truly matters and just let the rest go. So what does this all add up to? Well, it means that life doesn't run on simple, straight-line logic. It's a messy, beautiful, and deeply paradoxical place. And the smartest people out there don't run from these contradictions. They lean into them. They embrace them. So let's just recap those crucial takeaways. The effort paradox teaches us that sometimes letting go is way more powerful than pushing. The knowledge paradox shows us that humility is the true beginning of wisdom. The failure paradox reframes our biggest mistakes as our most valuable lessons. And the paradox of choice reveals that real freedom is actually found in limits, not in endless options. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. The wisest people know that life's deepest truths are rarely found in the black or the white, but in the vast, nuanced, and absolutely fascinating gray area in between. But really, this is just the start of the journey. I'm genuinely curious to read your thoughts, so please let me know in the comments. Which of these paradoxes really resonated with you? Or maybe there's another one you live by. Thanks for watching.